I'm Mark Turner, President of the Gilroy Chamber of Commerce, and we are continuing our series, our Legislative Summit series that we are doing this year by way of Zoom meetings. And with me today is the Mayor of Gilroy, Roland Velasco. Mayor, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being with us and participating.
Of course. Thank you so much for the invite, Mark. This is going to be an interesting legislative summit. I was actually kind of looking forward to gathering with all my peers and stuff at one of the local hotels and kind of giving the community an update. So this is a very good way of the chamber staying involved and pushing forward, pushing information out to the community.
Well, thank you, Mayor. We've been able to, we've had a number of our elected officials participate, and so we're glad that you're with us. We'll go ahead and jump into the questions now. And first one being, how do you see Gilroy faring through this this COVID crisis?
You know, this first off, I got to say just how proud I am of the Gilroy community. I think the residents of Gilroy have gone above and beyond to do their part to try to slow down and even flatten the curve. You know, there are people out there who are taking the shelter-in-place order seriously, and they are being respectful, and I'm not hearing about the troubles that other jurisdictions have. You know, it's unfortunate, though, that that Gilroy has about 43 cases of the COVID virus in our community. So that's 43 cases in Gilroy, but county-wide, we are looking at 2,244 cases that have been confirmed throughout the county. Just over the weekend, there was 65 new cases that was brought to the county's attention. Also over the weekend, there was 4 new deaths. So in Santa Clara County, we've had 117 deaths. So all of these, each incident impacts families, it impacts you know, communities, and there's a story behind each one of those. And so I'm blessed that that Gilroy, our number is still relatively low, but we have to be cautious. We have to take the order seriously. We have to protect each other and protect ourselves.
How about the business community? How would you say the business community is faring through this this ordeal?
You know, even in a healthiest of economies, it is difficult to run a business. And I can't imagine what it would be like right now. The pressure on especially small businesses that you know, have very tight payrolls is just immense. And I don't know how they're able to do it. Right now, the businesses are struggling. I think they are trying to put their best foot forward. I think small businesses are trying to do what they can. But the challenge we have is the uncertainty of this virus. How long is it going to last? How long is it going to be amongst us? And how long is government going to say, you know, we need to shelter in place? And so I think local businesses are trying their best. They're trying to be creative, but I don't think they're going to be able to sustain this for much longer without there being some serious economic impacts and possibly shutting down of the business. I think there's already some talk amongst business owners that, you know, hey, I might be able to make it a month or 2 months, but this is not sustainable.
Yeah, we've had conversations with a number of businesses here in town that are struggling during this time, and knowing that this could go longer is creating, like you said, a lot of uncertainty for them, especially with the inability to sell, to open their doors and have customers coming in. And even though the governor just this week has implemented phase 2. There's still some restrictions that go along with that, but some of our businesses are in a difficult spot, and the longer this goes on, the more difficult it becomes. We're somewhat isolated here in South County. With that, Mayor, how do you see Gilroy, San Martin, and Morgan Hill kind of working together, not just through this crisis, but together as communities as we go forward?
Yes, we're isolated in the sense that we're at the southern tip of Santa Clara County, but the reality is we are connected to the San Jose and to some of the other northern cities, because that's where our residents go to work. With regards to South County itself, it's difficult for us to want to work together because, I mean, I'm just going to be painfully honest here. I don't know if I would want to do anything that's going to boost the sales tax in Morgan Hill. Conversely, Morgan Hill is not going to want to do anything that's going to boost the sales tax in Gilroy. We work together when it's in our shared interest to work together, for example, with VTA or with Caltrain, or with some of the major road projects that intersect both communities. That's a great opportunity for us, for elected officials, to be on the same page, to work together, to get out a shared message. When it comes to businesses, you know, each jurisdiction is going to be trying to recruit that business into their jurisdiction. And that's just a reality. And part of that has to do with the state. When you know, the state has made cities so dependent on the almighty sales tax dollar, that's what happens.
Right, and I think you can always look to the statement that talks about, you know, a rising tide lifts all boats, and certainly as goes Morgan Hill, so goes Gilroy, and vice versa. As goes Gilroy, so goes Morgan Hill. So I know that I get the essence of what you're talking about, but I know that together, these communities, I know you have a good relationship with the Morgan Hill mayor. In time of crisis, in time of need, we certainly do work very closely together. And actually, from the chamber's perspective, we have a number of businesses in Morgan Hill who are chamber members here, and likewise, there are businesses in Gilroy who are members of the Morgan Hill Chamber. So there is some good working relationship that goes on, and we certainly appreciate our neighbors to the north and what they do. With focusing more on Gilroy, though, what do you see ahead, especially in Monday night's council meeting? There were some financial realities that were beginning to set in based on the report from our city administrator. What do you see ahead for Gilroy based on that bit of information that came out Monday?
So let me back up though real quickly, because I don't want to say that Gilroy and Morgan Hill are not working together. There are plenty of opportunities for us to work together, and I mentioned some of them. And then of course, when it comes to public safety, whether it's fire services or police services, we're always there for each other. So there are plenty of opportunities. And as you mentioned, I have a good working relationship with the mayor and their council. Also, you had mentioned previously the governor and relaxing the shelter-in-place order throughout the state. However, it's also very, very dependent upon each county, because each county's order is sometimes more restrictive than what the state is doing. And we find that here in Santa Clara County. So I just want people to understand that we're following the orders from Santa Clara County, and that's going to be a little bit different than what the governor has put forward. With regards to the city finances, you know, we have lost a lot of sales tax money. You know, local government does not sell little widgets, you know, out the door and generate money coming in. we provide services. We provide police services, we provide fire services, you know, recreation services, making sure our parks are safe and clean, things like that. Those are the things that the taxpayers expect. And we're funded by tax dollars. The three big ones are sales tax, property tax, and the TOT, often called the hotel tax, transit occupancy tax. And what we're seeing is a major hit on those incomes, income revenue coming into the city. We're projecting a 30% reduction impact in fiscal year 20. Right now, property taxes are not, we're not expecting a hit in property taxes, only because that lags behind. TOT, we're looking at a 55% reduction. And I guess overall, we're probably looking at about a $7 million shortfall. So that is a lot of money. And, you know, it's going to be very tough. The council's going to have to make some tough decisions in the months to come.
And I guess that to some degree, that can kind of be part of the argument for getting businesses open sooner, obviously with proper safety measures and protocols in place. But the sooner our local businesses are selling, the sooner hotel rooms are being occupied, obviously the sooner that sales tax, COT, all that can make its way to the city coffers. So, and I know it'll be a slow start. People are going to self-regulate. They're going to be somewhat cautious about how they work their way back into businesses. But part of that, I guess, really the responsibility is to some degree on our business owners who are taking those proper protocols, making sure that their customers have a sense of security, peace of mind, that masks are being worn, gloves are being worn, that these shop owners are doing all that they can to make sure that the public is going to be safe.
Yes, I would agree with that. I think, you know, we're projecting, we've already lost this quarter, which ends at the end of June. So when we're really looking at the first quarter of next year and the first half of next year, we're hoping that by then we'll have easing of restrictions, that we'll have some good news that will build confidence in the consumers so that then they could go out and start spending that money. And then, you know, employers will start hiring, they'll start, you know, taking that dollar in and buying other things and recirculating that dollar. And then, of course, the city will benefit through a healthy workforce and then, of course, the revenue coming into the city.
Right. And of course, we're going to be talking in our next session about the back to business plan that the city, you being that representative, the chamber, and Visit Gilroy are working on in order to provide information to our local businesses to make sure that they understand the proper protocols to take. We'll talk more about that in just one second. We're here with Mayor Roland Velasco. We'll be back in just a brief moment. Thank you.